Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, this is a follow-up video to a previous video that I did on fasting. Today, we'll be discussing the last video we discussed the benefits of fasting. Today, we're going to look on the types of fasting and fasting protocols in terms of how you could start, things that you could do, and just the whole fasting process. All right, so the first type of fasting, which is the one that I personally like, is just going without food I usually go without food for at least a day, 24 hours. And that means no food, no water, no liquids whatsoever. There are times when I may incorporate some fluids depending on my schedule, what I have going on that particular day. But for the most part, I would go without. If I have an active schedule, then I may need to stay hydrated. But otherwise, if I'm in office and that kind of thing, not too much going on, then I would just go without. Now, there is another type of fasting, which is the liquid fast, which would include water, teas, juices, anything in liquid form, coconut water. That definitely would keep you hydrated. A lot of people who have certain health issues prefer that method, because then they'll be able to get, whatever sugars their body may need or electrolytes that they may need to replenish their body. Another type of fasting is the fruit fast. Now, it's interesting because growing up, when I grew up in the church, I grew up with my grandparents in the church, and when they spoke about fasting was just going without food, going without water, going without fruits, going without anything that you actually put inside your body. It's a means of denying the flesh, as they would call it, denying the flesh of things that it may like or enjoy, to focus on the spiritual aspect of your life. Now, in today's society, there are so many different types of fasting. As I was saying, fruit fasting. So this is where you would eat, I guess, any type of fruit that you have available or that you like. Fruit is known for its detoxification qualities. A lot of people prefer that, especially people who are just starting their fasting journey. They prefer to start with a fruit fast instead of just going cold turkey into not having anything. Also, people with certain health conditions would opt for the fruit fast as opposed to going without. There is also fasting, intermittent fasting. This is where you may you have a certain set of hours per day that you eat. Let's say, for example, you have a period of 6 hours or 8 hours. In that period, you do all of your eating, and for the rest of the remainder of the day, remaining hours, you go without. A lot of people have benefited from intermittent fasting, especially those who, again, are not able to go straight into the completely going without food and drink. I personally know of someone I have, well, quite a few friends that have benefited from intermittent fasting. They would, let's say they would skip breakfast and skip lunch and just have dinner, or they would skip breakfast, have lunch, and have dinner, and in between they would be drinking their water or sometimes their juices, and that has helped them tremendously. There are some people, I mean, there's so many different variations. I guess people are doing whatever it is that they feel works for them and their situation and what they have going on. Some people will do, I believe I mentioned a liquid fast before. You have some people who will do juice fasting. So you, in this case, would need a juicer where you would juice your vegetables and fruits, and in this case you would have those nutrients in concentrated form that helps to detoxify your body. And of course you will want to drink a lot of water with this type of fasting, because these nutrients in the fruits and vegetables are pulling out toxins and all of that stuff in your body, and the water will serve as a means of flushing those toxins out, right? So I do quite a bit of intermittent fasting, and I've done juice fasting in the past too. If I'm fasting, I like to just go without. I just go without. It takes practice, from what I understand. I didn't start out just going without. I started out with juicing, and in those instances, I would also drink teas and a lot of water. And then I advanced to a stage where now I could go without food for a period of time. The longest I've gone without food is 21 days. 21 days. It was not easy. I'm not going to sit here and act as if it was easy, because it was not. It was not easy at all. The first 3 days and the last maybe 2 days were the hardest. The first 3 days I had headaches, felt dizzy, brain fog. I believe that those were the symptoms that I struggled with on the first 3 days. Yes. And then the days after were quite surprisingly smooth. One of the things I noticed, however, is how heightened my sense of smell was. I would be smelling food left, right, and center, which doesn't normally happen when I'm not fasting, as much. This happened in for the first 3 days, and I had this urge to eat for the first 3 days. I found, however, that after those 3 days, though my sense of smell was heightened, I didn't have the desire to eat what I was smelling. You know what I mean? I didn't have that desire at all. So from day 4 up to maybe day 18, 19 was pretty smooth. I took it easy. I didn't have a lot going on in terms of activities. I was drinking water. And I was drinking teas. So that within that 21 days, I didn't just go without anything at all. I was drinking water and I was drinking teas. No solids. On day 19, I believe, I started to notice I was getting weak. My energy was really depleting. I lost a lot of weight. I was never really a big person to begin with. I didn't do it for weight loss purposes. I did it because I just was not feeling good in my body. I didn't feel as energetic as I wanted to feel or as I used to feel. And I just decided to fast. And so on day 19, I realized that my energy started to dip. So I was like, okay, it's time for me to come back, because my body was really, all the energy was being depleted. So then I started to drink more teas, and I started to incorporate juices, and I started to incorporate fruits. The first fruit that I had was a mango, which is my favorite fruit, and that went well. During that period between the 4th and the 19th day, I worked at this job where they are all about food. Ever so often they would have lunch dates and that kind of thing, and you'd go out to have lunch, or they would have food come into the office. And I tell you, it was amazing to see how much I traversed those days and not having that urge to eat. Now, fast forward back to day 19. After having that mango, and I now decided to transition into solid food. I remember we went out, we were at work, I was at work, and we went out for lunch. We went to a restaurant, nice restaurant, and I ordered a mushroom burger. I think it was a lentil soup and a juice. Never forget, I had the juice, I had a little bit of the lentil soup, but I decided to take the mushroom burger home. When I went home, I had that burger. And oh, what a big mistake that was. I was so sick. My stomach was in a knot. I was in cramps. I was in pain. I had to force myself to bring up the mushroom. I couldn't keep it down. And so I went back to my fruits and just slowly incorporated solid foods. I started with more fruits, and then I made some soup, and then I slowly incorporated food. I started out with soft foods. I had a lot of pumpkin. I think I had potatoes, and just slowly worked my way up. So do your research. Do your own research. But let me tell you, fasting has a way of setting you straight. I like to call it the Great Reset. One of the benefits that stands out for me, or should I say two of the things that I noticed that stood out for me during this journey. After the 3rd day, my mental clarity, it's as if I was on a different dimension. It's as if I was hearing, I don't want to freak anyone out, but it's as if I was hearing things in another dimension. My hearing, my sight, my thoughts were so clear. My level of focus was so clear. Fasting. So if you're suffering from headaches, mental fog, anxiety, try fasting. The second thing that I noticed is energy, which is the reason I actually did it in the first place. My level of energy skyrocketed through the roof. It was amazing. And I was like, I found it very interesting because I was saying to myself, I'm not eating. So where's all this energy coming from? It just goes to show how amazing our body is. We underestimate our body, not only the body, but the mind. Powerful. Powerful. So if you are having issues where you find that your energy is not the way it used to, or you'd like to increase your energy levels, try fasting, right? Oftentimes we have a lot of toxins that have been built up in our cells, and so that energy and that chi is not able to flow as it's supposed to provide that energy that we need, you know, or that ease of movement that we need. So there you have it. My experience with fasting, the different types of fasting, and just another way of loving yourself, ladies. Try fasting today. If you have fasted, let me know your experience in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. If you've benefited, whatever it is your experience was, let us hear it in the comment section. Until next time, this is Marcy, and we continue the journey of elevating and rising into the true divine feminine that we are. Until next time, I bid you love and peace. Take care of yourself, ladies. Until next time.